This is Eric Trigestad with the Christian Chronicle. On May 4th, 2007, a tornado more than a mile wide destroyed the town of Greensburg, Kansas. The storm killed 10 people and destroyed almost every building in town. Among the people who lost their homes were 11 families who attend the Church of Christ in Mullinville, about 10 miles west of Greensburg. One of those families is Greg and Cindy McMurray. Cindy and the McMurray's daughter, Lena, were in Greensburg when the storm hit. Greg and their son, Nico, were at a high school forensics meet in Salina. Standing outside the remains of their home in Greensburg, they take up the story.
The hail started coming, and it was getting bigger. Her husband, Doug, he kept going upstairs and kind of checking it out, and then he said he kept coming down quarter size, golf ball size, and then we could start hearing the damage from that. And then it was right on schedule, about 9:45 or so. Power went out, and it just got dead quiet. I mean, like, quiet. It went from really loud chattering from the hail to dead silence, and that's when my daughter and I got up. They had already told us the safest room in the house is the utility room. The stairs are just to the west of that, and then there's bedrooms back there, but it has the most support beams and everything. And so as soon as it got quiet, we all just ran into there. We covered up the little kids with pillows and blankets, and then my daughter hunched over them, and Doug and Carrie got the Schwarms, is the older couple, in there, and I just laid blankets over everybody that was in that little pile of kids, and put a blanket over my head, and we just held on for dear life. And you could just hear a lot of wind and things hitting the house, and then as soon as, well, part of the roof is gone over there. Their house is actually pretty good. I'm glad we were there. We could hear the roof above the stairs leave, and that's when you could hear all the noise. And actually, I don't remember, like the freight train noise that everybody says they heard. I just remember my ears and the suction. There's a lot of pressure in them. And then it seemed like it lasted forever, and then it kind of died down, and then it started again. Nobody felt safe to leave and get up and check. I know it was probably maybe 10 minutes before Doug actually got up and went to look out. And I heard, he did say, he was so calm. They both, they were both really calm. And they just kept saying, we're all okay, we're all okay. I'm so glad we were over there, actually. They did a really good job. So, yeah, I think he went upstairs probably about after 10 minutes, and he said, your house is gone, the roof is gone. He said, Greensburg is gone.
Cindy did finally call me about 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning, and this thing happened at what, 9?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
We was no cell service. It hit the tower, the cell tower, so nobody had any service, and I couldn't.
Doing a lot of praying in the intervening hours, I guess.
You know it. We prayed. I prayed with the kids in the hall several times, and just some of them would come by and just scared to death. What do we do? And I said, well, we just lean on God. It's the only thing we can do. And I just praise God that we had 30 kids out of town.
I think our first reaction, probably as a Christian family, is I really thought that was it for us. I really thought, that I would probably not see my husband and son again. But then when we walked out, I just thought I was thankful to be alive. And actually, it's just stuff to me, and it really actually has put things in perspective. It got my priorities aligned in a hurry. So I'm just thankful, and it's going to make us stronger. And we watched the church there, and just all over, I've heard so many different places have called, and I feel like I'm not worried at all about anything. I'm not. I know that God is going to provide through his people, and I don't worry about that at all. I don't. We'll make it.
For information on how you can help the tornado victims, please see our website, christianchronicle.org.